This is not a Vigor specific interview, okay? I just want to say that out loud. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. What did we see here? Uh Yes. What's Vigor? What is it? All right. All right. So hold on. Let me double back here. Let me double back here. So, first of all, yes, Forsythia is from the Vigor team, right? Right. So we all know Forsythia from the Vigor team, community manager, one of the like three community managers. This is not a Vigor specific interview, okay? I just want to say that out loud. This is not a Vigor specific interview. This is more about community management, the role specifically within how she deals with running the community and helping on social medias and stuff like that. So definitely a little bit of a different interview than what a lot of people are going to be expecting, but nonetheless it is Forsythia. She is from Vigor. So without further ado, give me just 1 second here. I'm gonna troll you and do the whole interview with I'm gonna go ahead and say no, don't do that. No, don't do it. Burn it down. Dragoon, I'm gonna give you those points back, bro. I'm not wearing them. I'm not wearing the mask during the interview. I'm not doing it. I'm not. And also, I don't know if Discord's even going to. I don't know if Discord's even going to be able to capture my camera. Because the last time when I did it with Maz, and because OBS is using my camera, I don't think Forsythia is going to be able to see me anyway. He has to be during the interview. I'm not doing it. Maybe for like 2 minutes. Maybe for like 2 minutes during one of the good questions. You're going to have to wait on that one. All right. Dino Mask. Give me a... Y'all going to have to give me a minute, all right? Y'all going to have to give me a minute. Zayden said, so now you have to. Okay. I second the Dino Mask. Oh God, guys, you got Forsythia in on it even. Oh God. Oh. Okay. All right. So we'll start with the Dino Mask. All right. It's cold. Look at it. All right. So the Dino Mask has made its way back. Oh, this thing's horrible. Why did I ever do this? Why did I ever make this part of it? It's cold. It is cold. There she is. Hey, Hey, Forsythia. All right, so I don't know how to do this right. I bet Nightcrawler would want it to have. What do you mean, Nightcrawler? I don't know anything. All right. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down to my mouth. Okay. So we're gonna try this. All right. How do I call? How do I call on Discord? Start voice call. No. Yeah, there we go. Is it working? Why isn't it working?
Hello.
Oh, hey, there she is. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. Kind of still laughing about the dino mask, so.
You know what? Don't badger me, okay? I do what the people want. If you want, you could go ahead and enable. If you can enable the camera, I think it should work.
Let
TV
me see.
camera.
It's been so long since I used Discord to video call, so let's hope that it works. Mm,
All right. Well, regardless, if it doesn't work, I mean, voice is good, but there you are.
it
I
works.
see you. Okay, so let me get my play capture going here. All right. I'm gonna have to do some maneuvering of some things because my camera's not showing because Discord won't show it. Anyway, so how are you today? How are things?
I'm okay. I'm kind of tired, but I think that it's just because winter is basically already here. So I'm not used to it being dark so soon during the day. Like, actually, a few minutes ago, there was still some sun outside, and now it's just dark and gray already. So, yeah. And especially because, like, I lived in Dubai my whole life, so I'm used to the sun, and now I come here and it's like, oh, it gets dark and gray. Yeah, they are. Like, my family's American, but I lived my whole life in Dubai because, like, I don't know, it just, I think my parents just felt like it was the right place to be.
Hey, can you hear me now? There we go. All right, cool. Very cool. Not like this. You can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me now. I know you can. Okay, cool. So, let's just go ahead and we'll get the first question out of the way, and then I can take this mask off.
Yeah.
And then
I
we.
know I said, like, I second the Dino Mask, but I wasn't thinking that you were for real gonna do it.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
oh, now I
Oh,
kind of feel bad.
oh
Like,
no, 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 no. It's totally okay. It's totally okay. So I was just asking guys. I was just asking her, where she was from. Said she was from Dubai, some stuff like that. I know you heard her, so you don't need my explanation of her answer. But anyway, so just go ahead. Let's start off. Just go ahead and tell us about yourself. Your home life, some work life, schooling. If you have any pets, just whatever might be relevant.
where do I begin? I think I can begin with the pets part because, like, that was the last thing you mentioned. I do have a dog. Unfortunately, she's not with me here in the Czech Republic. She's at home with my parents in Dubai. She's a lovely border collie, and I love border collies. I feel like they're super smart and super kind and sweet little doggos. So yeah. Um, yeah, so I joined Bohemian Interactive in the beginning of this year. Um, I recently graduated from my bachelor's studies at the university here in Brno, and I've started my master's as well just recently. Like, the semester started for the fall semester, and I joined that, and it's kind of been tough, but thankfully I've been able to manage both work and school at the same time. So yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a giant kudos for being able to manage work life and school life in the middle of quarantine. Um, I tried to work from home for 3.5 months. I couldn't do it. I First of all, I mean, I trained from home. It was all online stuff like that, and the job itself was tough to begin with. So, it didn't make for a very good experience on my end at all. So I was like, I have to go back. So I am working out in the public now, but it's not too terrible. But again, though, kudos to you for being able to one do go for your masters during all of this, and then to be able to stay in touch with work and keep the quality. So that's good for you.
I'm glad that I'm able to do both actually, because I've always liked being busy, let's say. I've always liked working and studying at the same time, but I have to admit, like, this whole coronavirus situation has made it much more difficult than it should be. I've been staying at home for a bit too long now, and I feel like I'm kind of losing my mind because everyone just feels that way when they're cooped up in one place. But yeah, like at least I can keep myself busy, and if on days that I don't work, I have to do online classes and vice versa. So
Yeah,
it's quite
it's
okay.
difficult. Yeah, I'm sure. So now I do want to ask. I just want to segue. What are you going for your master's for?
Oh, it's the same as my bachelor's degree. I'm actually studying international relations and European politics.
Okay.
Um, it feels like a mouthful now that I think about it. It's actually interesting because I haven't really spoken to people out loud in a very long time, I guess. So it's interesting that I just realized that it's quite a mouthful of a degree to say. Oh, hey, I graduated from this, and that, and it's like, oh, okay, done.
Hey, no worries. Whatever it is, it sounds pretty fun though. I mean, European politics. I'm sure it's much different from American politics, but that's the politics thing just kills me either way. It doesn't matter who it is, whatever side it is. I'm not a huge I'm not huge on the politics thing. So, first of all, I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna take this dang mask off, and I'm gonna get
Go ahead.
comfortable. All
Go
right,
ahead.
guys, you had your fun. You had your fun. You saw the mask. We did the thing. It's gonna come back on soon though, I'm sure. They're gonna tell me to friggin' put it back on. Alright, so what was question number 2 on our little list here? Alright, so again, guys, Forsythia is one of the community managers for the Vigor team. I would like you to go ahead and just explain a little bit about your job, the role that you specifically play, some of the responsibilities that you have and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So as one of the community managers, I'm here to monitor what's going on our social media. Well, not just your typical social media with like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but also I'm very active on Reddit. I feel like a lot of the activity actually happens there, in my opinion. I'm there to gather feedback and to interact with you guys, our Outlanders, and ask them how they feel about certain things in the game, certain new features, or also just to communicate with y'all, keep the hype going for the game. I know that we have a lot of very passionate Outlanders out there, and I love interacting with them both on all social media, whether as the Vigor page or as my own account on Reddit. So yeah, and when I collect all those feedback, like all of us collect feedback constantly, and we bring it up to the team and various uh people who would be interested in hearing the information, and we would discuss how do we tackle certain things. Like for example, if Zane's still here, yeah, like we I I'm in weekly meetings with him as well. So yeah, but I think that's it in a nutshell. I can't really think of the little details right now, even though I just literally got off of work before coming onto this interview,
Right,
but
right.
yeah,
That's funny. So Zane meekly waves. He says so. He's still here.
okay.
So that's actually that answer kind of leads me into one of the other questions that I had. So you're talking about collecting the feedback and everything. Do you guys have like a set of tools that you use to manage the feedback? Like how do you collect all that information? Like is there like some kind of internal system? Are you guys just taking notes on everything you read, or how do you guys go about that?
It's all of what you've mentioned, actually. We do have a documentation system in place. Screenshots are the most important thing ever. And clips. That's also why like we do take screenshots and we take note of what people say on social media, but we also take screenshots of, let's say, proof that they've got, clips, even the memes that get shared. We also take screenshots of those and we share them with the team. We have a laugh with the memes, by the way. You guys do an amazing job.
Yeah, some of the memes I've seen are pretty good.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, like, we have a couple of very creative Outlanders who make their own video content. even in the partnered program, even those who are not partnered, there is some really interesting stuff going on. We've also heard some musicians make some kind of like Vigor style beats or Vigor based music. So we also share that, and we talk about how enthusiastic the community is through our meetings. Let's say like we look at those documentation and the notes that we took and we just elaborate more on them in meetings.
Yeah, and speaking of the community being super passionate, I've been a part of not a whole lot of game communities over the years, but some pretty passionate communities, and this community just knocks the socks off of every other one I've ever been a part of, honestly. That's part, based on, obviously the game itself. It speaks volumes of the people involved, but it also speaks a lot of, about the community team themselves. Like you guys have taken a lot of time to try and make those social channels a better place for people to be. It used to be, it can get toxic here and there, but it seems like you guys do a pretty good job of quashing a lot of that and keeping the focus, extremely game centered. I know you guys are always asking, what do you guys like about it? What's better? What can we do to improve? So that speaks a lot about you guys as a team specifically too. So that's really great. All right, so let's see. We've got all right. So this one's more so about community managing specifically. So I know that communication and understanding are essential for the community management role when when managing a community as a whole. But what's some of the most effective communication tools that you've been able to utilize yourself?
Hmm. Communication tools. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to go in the right direction or in the way that you wanted me to go with my answer. But when you say communication tools, I think about, like, for example, we've got that public Discord server. I would say that that's a communication tool with our audience. We have announcements on there and we do monitor the conversations on there as well. Uh, it seems that an important thing as well to keep in mind whenever we want to communicate to you guys, there always has to be a good um wow, I'm not even sure how to say it properly, but like images, videos, clips, something for you guys to see and to understand that that's what we're referring to. Not just in, because it can get kind of boring to read just text. So it's always nice to have a good graphic to come along, or some kind of art related to the game. So I feel like that's also kind of a communication tool. Did I get that right? I don't know. Like you're free to elaborate
No,
for
no, no,
sure on
no,
like
no.
what
I
exactly
think
you want to know.
Yeah, I think the question that I asked was kind of up for interpretation. I think any kind of tool for communication, whether it be posting directly to the socials, like you said, using like Reddit or Discord or anything like that, I guess would be sufficient. So I think your answer checks out. I think we're good. But
Okay, cool.
yeah. That being said, though. Now you said that Reddit seems to be is Reddit a bigger community than the Facebook community, or like how do they compare?
Huh. Well, I would say that they're both kind of equal, but I feel like people on Reddit are a bit less scared to voice themselves because of this whole feeling of wow, how well you're anonymous.
Yeah,
I just tried to
I know the
say
word you were going for.
yeah, but I didn't feel like letting that roll off my tongue just now, so we'll just go with they're anonymous on Reddit, and they just feel more comfortable that way, which is totally understandable. So I feel like they're more vocal on there as well, but also people on Reddit seem to be a bit more diverse than I expected, as opposed to our Facebook group. I think it's because when you join our Facebook group, we've got certain rules in place that you have to agree with, etc., etc. But on Reddit, anyone can just join, and we've got like Reddit's moderating system going on there. So whatever needs to be filtered out gets filtered out automatically. Um, but sometimes it doesn't work very well, so I also have to go into that queue and like approve those posts that are actually okay. And I feel like more people are kind of, I would say they're both nice on both platforms, both on Facebook and on Reddit. But I just feel like Reddit is a bit more active than Facebook, just a tad bit, not too much, but I do feel it, especially on weekends when I'm most active. Probably because people are, busy spending time with their families or enjoying their free time on weekends. So yeah, I think I think that it can vary to a certain degree, but not too much.
Okay, okay. So I guess what I was gonna say with Reddit, it seems to me that the conversations and the content that goes there, it's vastly different from the stuff that shows up on Facebook for whatever reason. You obviously have the bug reports, and you have the, oh, hey, checked out this awesome clip. But the discussion itself is definitely more focused, and it's a little bit more of a deeper dive into some of the mechanics and stuff like that from what I've seen. I haven't been on the Reddit in probably a couple of months, but that's what I've noticed, and I've been on the Reddit since it started back, 2 or whatever years ago. It's just every now and then I go in and out, but the Reddit community is definitely much different than the Facebook community that I'm used to. That's to say the least. Now I did see a question. This is actually a pretty good one, I think. So how do you deal with the haters? And know when you're okay. How do you deal with the haters, and how do you know when what you are doing is the right decision?
Okay, for the first part of the question with haters, you kind of just get used to them. I think that there's everything that's out and under the sun has been said already, and it's kind of all expected. I mean, it's the internet. You can't really, you can't really control what everyone says. With haters, as long like constructive feedback is very important for us, and it's totally understand if they would label themselves as haters, I guess, but feedback is feedback as long as it's presented in a very constructive manner and in a polite way as well. But if you're talking about those haters who just like to spam a lot of, I don't know, swearsies with bad words and who have nothing substantial to contribute to the community, it's kind of hard to deal with them, but we try to give them warnings on their behavior and try to coax them in a way to say what they want to say, but in a less vulgar manner, but maybe in the same expressive sense, I guess. Um, so yeah, and could you remind me what the second part of the question is?
So basically, just how do you know when the actions that you're taking, are the correct actions? What's morally right, what's right by the rules, stuff like that.
Um, I would say that actually the team, as a team, we all talk together a lot about what people say and what people do on our platforms. And having our heads together on such situations helps you have more clarity on what to do. And also, aside from that, there's also the experience. It comes along with looking at what the community guidelines are and making sure that we follow it and understand why it's in place. So the decision making is based on both experience and talking to the team and sharing ideas.
Okay, so it's more of like a roundtable discussion. Well, I'm sure it all started a while back. Like, hey, here's our community standards. This is what we expect out of people, and then if there's anything that has gray area, you guys just discuss it.
Uh-huh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, gotcha. And now going back to the haters part, I totally understand, just having to figure out a way to deal with it. Whether it be hitting that mute button for 72 hours or or banning somebody completely because you have to. I know that I run my own community, on Facebook too, and that for me specifically, like being a partner, being a streamer, and then also having to manage the community, I run that tightrope too, where I want people to be expressive, I want them to be interactive, I want them to feel like they can say what they need to say when they're within the in my house, I guess you could say, right?
Mhm.
But that being said, I don't want too much negativity. We don't want toxicity of any kind because there's no point to it. And like you said, yeah, we want your feedback and we want you to express yourselves how you want. But if you can't manage your own emotion, in this situation, and make sure that you can present your information somewhat professionally to the point where I can, one, understand it, and two, want to read the whole message because because you're not just cursing the whole time. It really changes the dynamic of how that community interaction works when you can get people to actually start doing that. It's like, oh, your
Yeah,
your game sucks. Like, oh, are you wanna you care to elaborate just a little bit for me? You know what I mean? So
for sure. And like I think like I'm not sure if it happened a couple of weeks ago or just last week. Yeah, staying indoors has messed up my perception on time. But I think that there was an issue that popped up and I asked people to provide screenshots or clips if possible, because that really helps us out. Sometimes people, I totally understand, some people look at things differently, and some people are unable to express themselves eloquently. So, or maybe English isn't their first language, which is totally fine and understandable, but the photos and the clips really help us a lot because we try to figure out what was happening. It kind of presents a better, I mean, it gives us a better point of view on what exactly the player has experienced. So usually, like, if they just can't seem to describe the issue properly, or if it's something completely new and something that seems to be an isolated case, screenshots and clips are the way to go for sure.
yeah, I agree with that. And people are always like, oh, well, this happened. I understand. I get that happened. We've had reports from other people too. But if you can show us, sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, well, yeah, this disappeared. Oh, well, I had it before and I don't have it now. All right. Well, I mean, screenshotting that's kind of hard to do because you would have had to have a screenshot before, screenshot after, just to prove that, say a record for, like, I've seen there's people saying that records are leaving their shelter. Like, you would have to. There's no real good way to get proof of that. So I understand some of the frustration that comes out from some of the community members in that, but at the same time, you're just doing your job within the resources that you have to be able to gather that information anyway. Um,
Yep,
so
yep,
so
for
it can be
sure.
tough. All right, one
Yeah.
second here. I actually forgot to type what your name is and put it underneath you on the screen, so I'm going to do that right now. And we actually just got a
Okay,
raid.
totally fine.
Yeah, and we just got a raid from Reptile. Thank you so much, Rep. Appreciate the raid, man. Welcoming everybody that's coming in with Reptile. How is everybody doing today? We have REXonPoint from the Vigor Team, the Vigor Community Management Team here with us today, helping us out, hanging out, and doing the fun stuff. So if anybody's got any questions, now it's not specifically Vigor related today, so I'm not gonna field every Vigor related question. But welcome in everybody. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate that. All right, so let's see what's our next question here on our agenda. Okay, so I asked that actually. So tell us some of the cons, some of the pros and the cons, as it relates to the position that you have.
Huh. I would say the pros is that I get to interact with a lot of people and I get to know them better as well. Actually, the interesting thing is that many people tend to think that devs or community managers don't care about who they're interacting with, but well, we actually have quite an okay memory and we do remember who we've interacted with and who said what. So, in a sense, when the people figure out that, oh yeah, I talked to this, like someone messages me on Discord at random with some issue and it's a really pressing one and they were not expecting me to respond, but I do sometimes when the work pile is enough to manage. Um and they we talk it out and then after a while they make some sort of post again in like let's say in our forums and I respond to them on there as well and I say, "Hey, is that related to that issue you brought up to me before?" And they're like, "Oh my God, you remember that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." I mean, you were
it
talking about it.
Yeah, it's
So I
crazy,
would
right?
say that's definitely a pro. Like interacting with people and getting to know them better. I feel like it's always healthy to socialize, even on the internet. It's totally, I think it's a great thing to do. But I would say that a negative aspect of my position is it's kind of hard to draw the line when you're working and when you're not, especially when it's on social media. I sometimes find myself like out of working hours scrolling on, let's say, my Facebook feed, and then I see something that's related to the game, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm already here, so I might as well say something. And I guess it's hard to also maintain a work-life balance if you're going to be working on social media, but I like what I do, but I understand that there need to be some boundaries set, but it's just really hard when you like what you do.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That's a really interesting way to put it. Like, yeah, it's 10:30, and I should probably be going to bed, but now I'm involved in this thread that I have to moderate because I feel I need to. I've had that kind of an issue myself as well, where with I've got a wife, I've got a kid. Trying to keep the family life and trying to keep the stream life and stuff like that at least somewhat separate is definitely tough. Especially when I'm, always, I scroll on Facebook a good amount too. Especially when it's just like that family time before we go to bed. So I do a lot of a lot of that where I'm like, well, I wasn't planning on interacting with this whatsoever, but here I am, and I've been doing it for 30 minutes. you know.
Yeah, totally. And like that thing where you end up interacting or like moderating a thread just out of the blue. Sometimes you realize as well, like, oh, could I have really left this for the next day? I mean, it's like 11 p.m. Shouldn't I be asleep? But then sometimes you see that on Facebook and you're like, okay, this will be fine. I can check it out tomorrow in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, it totally, it all went to trash.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything's bad.
yep.
Everything's terrible. I
You,
could have
you go to
stepped
sleep
in.
with like 17 comments, you wake up with 74, you're like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
no. I get that. I totally understand that. I've been moderating, obviously the official Facebook for a while, as well as the my Facebook community, the Vigor Outlander community, and then I do one for an energy brand that I work with, and whatever. So I see that all the time where I'm like, do I really need to read through 17 comments or 20 comments right now, or can it wait? And then I'm like, oh no, it really needed my attention when I saw it. Okay. All right, so we did have some stuff from the. Okay, let's see if this is a question that I can ask. Okay, that's not something that I don't think I need to ask. Okay, never mind. All right, back to my question sheet. Let's see. So this is going to go into the community management thing a little bit more. Well, this is more about helping me, a little bit of advice for me. So I've been on a site called Hitmarker looking for jobs and stuff like that, right? Within the social media platforms and stuff. What am I doing here? Hold on, I'm messing everything up again. I know what I'm doing. I promise. Okay, that. Anyway, so I've been looking to try and to get into a community management role in more of a professional sense myself lately. And every time I'm on like these sites and stuff, I see where it wants a resume, or obviously you need a resume of all your stuff, but it also asks for a portfolio. What is a social media management portfolio? How do I build one of those?
Um, okay. I actually was also thinking about building up my own portfolio, so you asked a good question. But honestly, how I would tackle it myself is if someone asked me for a portfolio of my experiences as a community manager, I would probably um take screenshots of the content that I've contributed to or that I've made, or stuff that I've curated from the community. So, for example, there are instances where there's a really cool clip from the community of a snipe shot or something, and I make a social media post out of it, and you can see, let's say, the amount of reach that it has and how many interactions it has. I feel like that can be a screenshot of the statistics of such posts could do a good thing in a social media portfolio. But I've never made one myself because I wasn't exactly requested for one, or at least maybe I've done a thing and actually merged my portfolio and resume together without my knowledge.
Yeah,
Like,
that I guess
okay,
that's possible, huh? That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Um, yes, that was my thing. Like I had a couple of situations where I'm like, oh, this looks like something I'd be able to do, but it's asking for a portfolio, and I just don't know where to even start. Now I've thought the idea, oh yeah, you could probably just exactly what you said, the amount of reach that you're getting, the amount of interaction that you're getting, just say that you type up a really nice post, it's worded really well, and you get a decent response from it or whatever. Something like that I think would probably be sufficient. The question is how much, how many, how much, how diverse does it need to be? And I just had no idea where to even start with it. So I was hoping, I was hoping you'd have an answer for me at least in some capacity. So thank you
Um,
for that.
I I was actually I wanted to add to that. I did an interview with the company, like Meet the Bohemians interview series, and I think I was asked what like what exactly led me here, and well, I did mention that I did many diverse positions beforehand, and I feel like all the positions that you've done before spearheading into community management can come in handy some way, somehow, because it's all about communication, it's all about being creative, and I feel like every position that you will do will have those aspects. So you can merge all of that together and be like, hey, I'm gonna make a great community manager, I promise. This is what I did.
Yeah, and saying it, and having the idea of I know what I'm doing, and just making sure you can lay it out in the proper fashion so that people can see that experience. I don't know if I'm having trouble with it because I haven't really got a whole lot of messages back from the resumes that I have submitted. But okay, anyway, so let's see what else do I got here.
It's COVID, that's why you haven't
I,
gotten much response. Don't
but
worry.
but the thing is, all the positions that I've applied to have been remote positions. So I was, not that I was expecting a whole lot. It's not like I have applied to 30 or 40 positions. It's more like 10, 12 ish over the last couple of months. So I know that it's not enough, to probably get any kind of real traction. But
Oh, I think it's enough, and I feel like if you haven't heard back from the positions you've applied for, I think that you're better off without them.
yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so I did have a question from Kino a little bit ago. Let's see. Did you do a dissertation or a final project piece for your degree? If so, what was it?
Oh my God. I I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I wasn't expecting anyone to be interested or even ask this, but actually over the summer, before I graduated, I was crying over my thesis. It was, well, because I'm in the field of international relations and European politics, I could choose like between the two themes or the two fields, and I went with the international relations part, and I think that, right, yeah, it's also a mouthful of a title, but it was comparing the role of religion in politics using Syria and Egypt as case studies.
That sounds very interesting. That's probably a.
Uh, I thought so too, and then when I was working on it, I wanted to cry, and I was like, yeah, this is hella interesting, but why am I making myself hate this topic so much?
It's like this is everything hinges on this right here. I have to do this right, and I have to. That's
Yeah.
funny. It's probably really tough. Regardless, it's a really interesting topic, though. Honestly, kind of interested to see how that played out. But um,
I
how
did well.
I
I
was just
did
gonna
well.
ask, how long did it take you?
Um, well, in my university, we were given 2 semesters to write it.
Oh, okay,
So, 2 semesters,
gotcha.
yeah.
You had plenty of
I
time
was
then.
really worried. 2 semesters feels like a lot, but when you're actually working on it, it feels like 2 semesters isn't enough.
Okay, okay.
But
Well, I mean, you're
also,
also managing other work and stuff during that time frame too.
yeah,
So
that
okay.
too. But also COVID. happened and everything shut down and I wasn't allowed to go to my faculty. I had to be at home and
Oh,
all the interactions with my supervisor had to be online and it just didn't feel as rewarding and it can kind of lead to you procrastinating, which I
oh
admit
yeah,
I did.
oh yeah. I
So,
feel that real hard. I have a lot of things that I've been procrastinating on because of COVID. I'm still using it as an excuse, even though I'm not really affected by it right now. But
no,
like,
totally valid. It's totally valid.
yeah. Now that actually leads me back to another topic that I did have written down. So, given COVID, how has that changed your job role? How has it affected it? Has it affected it in a negative fashion, or the opposite?
I don't think it's actually affected my position in a negative way. I feel like it's been more positive, in a sense that, being indoors all the time, you kind of end up craving for social interactions. I mean, it's a normal human trait. Humans are meant to be social, and because of being indoors all the time, communications, between, let's say, the team and other departments within the Vigor sphere and also within our team and also I feel like um communicating with our players has improved. At least that's what I think. I also see myself as a bit less scared to ask questions and a bit less scared to say something because you are taught to speak up because you just have to type a message and press enter. It can be a bit daunting sometimes, especially I don't know, I would say that I'm kind of introverted, so I even have a hard time approaching people, and so sending messages can be tough, but I learned to just type it out and press enter, and then communications actually have improved since then. So,
That's good. And I've been in those kind of situations before. Like a lot of people would probably be surprised to hear, but I'm kind of that same situation where I'm kind of timid to just like walk up to a supervisor and say, "Hey, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is how I feel." But being able to be behind a screen and be like, "Oh yeah, let me just keyboard warrior this and make my confidence seem like it's way more than it is," and then send that one out. It definitely does help. I had a couple of situations where like the job that I was doing from home, like I needed to end my day early. Like I had no other choice, but I had to end it early. Had I been at the office and had to actually walk to my boss and be like, "Hey, yeah, I have to leave for this, and this reason," I probably would have stayed in my seat and finished working. You know what I mean? Those kind of situations. So
yeah, for sure. But it also, I think that the team that I've been working with have been very kind. Like for example, Parrot, like she's really approachable. It's just me. I'm really scared to say anything.
you don't want to be the squeaky wheel, right?
Yeah, totally.
I understand that. I understand that completely. So okay, so let's get back to Vigor just a little bit. So who is all part of the community team? How many people are a part of it? Pira is the top of the chain, or how does that work?
Yeah, Parrot is the she's my supervisor,
Okay,
so she's one out of two community managers. The second one is me. And then we're actually a part of the marketing team.
that's right. That's right.
Um, and at the marketing team, there's Dominic. You had an interview with
Yep.
him. He's the team leader for the marketing team. And then there is Philip or Szczęsny Bol. I
Yeah,
guess
I have no
that's
idea how to say it either.
well, like I think it was hard for me to say because like I know his last name in Czech and like it's basically that as his Discord handle, but without the accent. So I'm like,
Yeah.
should I be reading it like your last name or nah? So yeah, like there's Philip and yeah, Philip does manage the social media as well at times, but he does it really well, even though let's just say that he has a lot on his plate, and I'm really thankful and appreciative that he's able to hop in as well at times when I'm not able to or when Parrot's not able to. It's great. I think we've got a great team dynamic where we've got each other's backs.
That's good. That's good. And it's definitely one of those things where you need like trying to do it myself. You need help. Like you 100% need somebody else to fill in that gap because you can't be there all the time first of all. And sometimes you need that other perspective on a situation, kind of like what you were saying earlier, where if it's kind of a weird situation, you put your heads together and you come up with a better answer or a better plan of action for it. So where I lack on my end, where I don't have any other mods really to one, talk about the situation, and two, come up bounce ideas and stuff off of. I'm sure it really 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 helps to have those other people in your corner. Now, what other things does Philip take care of? I know that you said he's got his plate full.
Oh yeah. He does the PR. I'm trying to think what else he does, but that's a lot, and he does a lot of communications internally as well as externally. But I think that's not. I think that's about as much details as I know, and I think that's also how much I'm allowed to divulge out of respect for him.
Gotcha. Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick here. Thank you, Christopher Beast, for the sub, man. I appreciate you, homeboy. Thank you so much for that, dude. I'm not going to do the dance at the moment. I'll dance for you in a little while if you'd like, though. You're going to stick around. Um, all right. So what else do we got? I think I've got most of the questions from our little sheet that I'd sent to you. Um, I mean, if you want, you can just kind of go over like what a normal day, what a normal day for you would be. I have that one still. Um, and another one,
Okay.
what was the other one? Basically, the only other question I really had was, what kind of qualities and traits do you believe it takes for a good community manager or social media manager?
Um, let's start with that one, with the traits and personality for a community manager. I think that you have to be a people person for sure. You have to be very understanding as well and communicative. I think that's those three things are the most important traits that you ought to have, because without it, how are you supposed to interact with people? Also, you can't just jump straight in and head dive into a situation without assessing the room. Like you gotta read the room
Yeah.
sometimes, and it's really hard when it's just words on a screen. But that's when you gotta be a people person. You gotta try and see it from their perspective and understand where they're coming from. So I think that those three traits are very important.
All right, very good. We got a question from chat. How much time do you spend on social media each day for Vigor?
Um, I'm trying to think if I should consider the amount of time I spend procrastinating on my phone looking at the social media when I should be studying for school.
so
Um,
so how many hours do you clock on your time card for Vigor social media stuff?
okay, I clock 8 hours,
Okay, eight,
like a
8 hours a
normal
day.
working day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, but you're not on social media the entire 8 hours every day, right? Because I'm sure you have meetings and stuff like that that you're doing throughout the week.
Yeah, we do, but I would say that mm in a way, social media still comes to play in those meetings, because sometimes we think, oh yeah, there was this thing brought up, but it wasn't expanded on. And then I quickly look through my phone and see what's changed with this thread if something's
Okay.
happened. And then, ooh, surprise, there's some new information. So I'm like, wait, hold up. I
Gotcha.
know
So,
it's not in the agenda, but I found this.
yeah,
So
so you'll literally bring up a topic and then all of a sudden, oh wait, now I've got 75 comments that I can read out loud to everybody right here.
yeah.
Or send the,
Oh
send the
yeah.
link to the thread to everybody really quick so they can all check it too. Okay. That's cool. That's really cool. Now, like me personally, like I just think that this kind of a role one suits me because of the experience that I've gained over the last 2 years. And I just think that would I'm a people person at heart, and I just think that being able to facilitate goodwill and everything from the game to the community. I just think that is so cool. So you're so lucky to be able to do what you do, and I can't wait to be able to do it myself too. Now, is there anything you want to say to the community? We've got a couple of people here, so if there's anything that you want to, tell them they need to shut their mouths and keep their and keep themselves quiet.
Oh, nah, no. I think I would just say that, well, coming from me and also from the team, like we really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your constant support and feedback. It's really helpful. And honestly, I wish that the world was in a better circumstance right now so that maybe we could plan more interactive things with you guys, like, for example, in gaming conventions where we could meet up with a few of our Outlanders, you know? So someday, hopefully soon, when this is all over.
Yeah,
And actually,
eventually.
I have the chat open on the stream here, and
So
I've
there were
just,
a couple of questions.
yeah, I see one from Kino where he asked if I play Vigor much. I used to, but then school got kind of heavy. And actually, I was asked today to try and get a few rounds of Vigor, but I had to politely decline because I have school stuff to take care of.
Hey, things happen. I won't. I won't. You know, badger you too much over it. It's okay.
Otherwise, I totally would have done it.
Yeah.
But then I also saw in the chat earlier that like, oh, you kind of have a tendency to leak things like gamer tags, battle pass
well,
codes.
well. Listen, Zane got online. Okay, I happen to have him as a friend. He got online. It popped up. I didn't say it out loud, but then, like 2 minutes later, I was like, "Hey, Zane, you want to play some matches after the interview?" And he's like,
I
"Don't be leaking my name, man." Oh, you have a
I
crown?
totally. Oh,
Yeah, my kid's now telling me about her birthday crown that she got yesterday.
cute.
What you doing? Yeah, she did. Mindy did get you that. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah, you got it on your head. Come here. We'll show everybody your crown really quick, but then you got to go downstairs, okay? Let's put your crown on. Crown on. Put it on your head.
Is that mom?
That's that. No, that's for Scythia, you silly girl.
I
Yeah. That's for Scythia. She's talking to me today. We're doing an interview. Say hi to everybody. Can you wave? No. Here, let's put your crown on your head. Yeah, big old princess headband, huh?
Oh, that's beautiful. She
Alright,
looks lovely.
thank you so much.
Daddy, I'm not ready.
Ready to get down?
I'm not ready.
Oh, you're not ready to get down, huh? Now you want the dinosaur mask. Well, we've got a special guest, guys. We've got a special guest. Let's see. I was gonna say something. There was another question. Christopher Beast. Let me bring this closer. Christopher Beast asked. He was like asked, what kind of help do the partners provide to you guys at in the community team or the community management team?
Ooh, where do I begin though? I mean, the constant rolling feedback, knowing that we get to see what y'all think firsthand before we put things out in public, it really helps. Um, it also like seeing your content is very helpful for us because we like to see the videos and the content you all make, but also we like to see the interactions and feedback that you partners have with your communities. So it kind of all adds up, and it also helps us make a better interaction and a more helpful community as well. You guys, the partners are known to be very helpful and kind to all the Outlanders and a good source of information as well. Like when in doubt, ask a partner.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a huge help.
Well, I'm glad that we could be, such a good help to everybody, and it's like one is it's a blessing to be a part of the program for just to feel that much closer. One to the development of the game, two to the community, and I remember a time probably a year and a half ago, well, maybe a little less than that, when being a partner didn't mean anything at all. Um, now I want to back up here. I don't want to besmirch the accomplishment of becoming a partner, but the community was like, "Oh, you're a partner? Oh, cool. What does that mean? I don't care. What kind of authority do you have?" But now it's like, "Hey, can we go and ask a partner this question?" Like I see posts on the Facebook page all the time. Hey, can a dev or a partner answer this question for me? I'm like, I got an answer for you. So
Yeah.
it's just nice to know that the community has started to understand that we do have that connection and we are that next step between them and the development team. So, okay, go draw for a little bit. Go downstairs and draw. Okay. Really. Okay, draw right over here. Draw right over here. You can't draw on my desk, okay? Over there on the Anyway, okay. All right, mommy's calling you. There we go. A little bit of relief. There we go. Perfect.
I was actually wondering, since your little girl came up, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was good. So we actually stayed home. My wife and my kid, myself. Normally we would go like my mother's or to her mother's. It really wasn't a COVID related decision too much, but it was one of those. Well, the baby just turned or is turning 3 in 2 days, so she's old enough to start remembering some stuff. So we're like, well, we're gonna have a first Thanksgiving at home, together. We're gonna do it all of our, just do it all ourselves. Start like our little family tradition. But yes,
Oh,
yeah. So it was nice, and I unfortunately didn't have any turkey because I didn't want to buy a 14-pound turkey for just myself to eat because my wife doesn't eat turkey. So I bought two little Cornish hens, and they were fantastic. And my wife did everything up, and it was good. It was a good one. How about yourself? Do you celebrate Thanksgiving over in the Czech, or does your American roots keep you
um,
celebrating?
Czechs don't celebrate Thanksgiving, so there's that. But also, my parents don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, but my grandparents do. And they sent me photos of what they had, and I was really jealous that there was pumpkin pie because I've been heavily craving for pumpkin pie. But I also like, though my parents and like my family, we don't necessarily celebrate Thanksgiving. We do keep it in mind, and we try to have something nice, but not like a proper spread on the table, kind of just like a pumpkin pie, because I'm a lover of pumpkin pie.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, like unfortunately, I wasn't able to be home. I haven't been home to Dubai in ages because of this whole COVID thing going on. So kind of sucks, but we'll see when I'll be next home, and hopefully we'll catch up with some turkey with my family because we actually usually have turkey for Christmas or New Year's. Pick one. I don't know which one. Sometimes it's both. So, yeah.
Okay, that's cool though. What sweetheart? What are you doing? Okay. Right, perfect, perfect. So, Chris just asked basically the same thing that I asked you earlier. If there was anything specific that you wanted to say to the community, if you'd like, you can elaborate on that again. If not, I can make him watch the VOD. That's not a big deal.
Um, I'll make him watch the VOD, but I saw that he asked a certain question before that, which was if there's anything you could ask us to do, what would it be? And I think that's for the partners, I assume. For the partners, I would say y'all keep doing what you do. You guys are very helpful, and we really appreciate your answers and your information that you give out and spread to the community and to your own community too. Keep that content going, and we hope that your passion remains or even increases for the game. So that's what I would say.
Heck yeah! All right. So let's see. I don't think I have any other questions here on my sheet. Um, and I've had you here for just about an hour now, I think. So I mean, if you're good, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about, I think we're ready to get going and get on with the rest of the day.
I think I'm good on my end. If anyone's got anything to say, they know that I lurk on the public Discord server, and I'm on Facebook, and I answer as the Vigor account, same as on Twitter and on Reddit, my own account. So if anyone's got any questions, go ahead and I'll try my best to get to them.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this morning or this afternoon for you, morning for me. But yeah, I really do appreciate that, and I would love to maybe at some point in the near future set something else up with you.
Yeah, for sure. Just hit me up and we'll find a time. Okay?
Very cool. Thank you so much, and have fun doing your schoolwork. I'm sure it'll be a blast.
Thank you.
See you later. Thanks again. Bye.
Dad.